And to begin with, it was my lovely mother who wanted to save her two children by all possible means. It was even Victor who after all took me. It was, they were the boys who warned us not to go back to the ghetto, because that meant death. It was the man at the station in Schwider who chased away all the boys who were nagging and trying to, I don't know what to do, but certainly trying to make my life difficult. It was the woman in Annie who kept me for a few days and saved me from going to the council which meant really, if I have done that, it would have meant my death. And after all, the magnificent Boruchinskis, who I can't describe. I only hope that I missed very much the fact that I couldn't share the years' wisdom, the experiences over the years' wisdom. It's my personal great loss. And I would like to say to people around, as long as you've got a roof over your head and something to eat, don't despair. Don't get angry. Have a positive outlook. Things can change. Things would change for better, as long as you think positively, as long as you don't get angry about and you don't feel sorry for yourself.
So as asked, of course, the students what's his message, and they're very clear in their response. They point out that there were so many people involved in his surviving. From the boys that told him don't go that way, to somebody else that did some, to his mother, of course, that so many people were involved. And it takes something, it could have been something small. And some of them did. They didn't necessarily do something drastic. It was just something little that happened to be at the right time, that he didn't do something or didn't go somewhere, and he was able to survive. And of course he has that that message of courage. So now we come to another quote. And this is Renee Firestone. She's a survivor. She was not rescued. She survived Auschwitz, as you can see. She was liberated by Soviet armed forces, and she has a very, I think, a wonderful message to tie this all together. And once again, I ask the students to listen and try to identify the lesson.
Well, I sometimes tell the groups that I speak before that I have never met a single survivor who doesn't know at least one, maybe several people who were saved by Gentiles. Would that hold true for you?
Well, I happen to be fortunate enough to meet here in Los Angeles a man by the name of John Widener. I don't know whether you know him. He was a Dutchman who organized an escape route from Holland through France into Spain and into Switzerland. He and his sister, as a matter of fact. And his sister was captured by the Gestapo and died in a concentration camp. And John escaped. And then he was captured again and escaped. And he tells a very interesting story, and I tell it to the children. He said that his father was a Dutch minister who he used to listen to on Sundays, and that his father used to end his sermon by saying, if you save a life, it is as if you save the whole nation. And he says, I didn't know what my father meant. And then he told a little story, which says that a little boy was praying to God to please look at this world and save the people, because they are killing each other, they are hating each other. And the little boy said, please God, send someone to help us. And God answered, I did, I sent you. He says, when I first heard what was happening to the Jewish people, he says, I immediately understood what I had to do. And he says that it was no doubt in my mind that I must help. And it was that simple.
Message, I think, is so crystal clear there. The students, it's obvious to them. I mean, every single hand goes up. What's the message? All the hands go up. It's that point where she says, she's telling the story of God, please send somebody, and God responds, I did, I sent you. That ties into not only doing right, but there's also personal responsibility to do right. That it is the responsibility of us as the minority. If it's a bad idea and the majority believes in it, it's still a bad idea. That it's the responsibility of us as the minority to stand up and do something about it. And we should all be thankful that not only did the 4 individuals up here in the town of Les Chambon and other various people throughout time have stood up to help those of us and others who need people to do the right thing, to protect us and to keep us safe. And then we come to the last quote, which really ties in, you can see, to the title. Even in darkness, light dawns for the upright, for the gracious and the compassionate and righteous man. And now I ask the students, why is the title, In Darkness There Is Light? And once again, their hands all raised. They say, Mr. Howard, it doesn't matter how dark times are. It doesn't matter if it's during slavery in the United States. It's Darfur in the Sudan. It doesn't matter if it's Bosnia or Cambodia. There have always been that small minority, that small group that do the right thing. That do the right thing. Now, we don't have an answer why, though. We never came to a conclusion why they do the right thing. But the important thing is that they do the right thing. And then I tell the students, I say, you know, I don't expect you to get, remember, I teach 8th grade. I don't expect you to get on a plane next week and go to Darfur. I don't expect you to do that, or go to another place. But there is something we can do as individuals here in our own community, whether it's Francis Parker, or whether it's Mark Twain across the street, or Helix High, or Torrey Pines. There is something we can do. And I tell the students, but that has to wait until next class, because we're out of time at this point. So the next class, they come in, and I kind of continue the lesson.